Yeah, so today we'll be going to start the session for the Python, and as I discussed that, so we will be, let me share my screen, and as per the content that we are going, and so whereas in our course outline, we are having certain modules and everything. So based on the modules, we'll be going as per the modules. The very start, we'll be starting the fundamentals of Python programming. So whereas in the fundamentals of Python programming, we'll be trying to see like how to utilize the course and how we'll be using Python for data science as an introduction. Thereafter, we'll be trying to know some of the data structures, functions, and the Python libraries and its module. We'll be discussing some of the things where in the Python. And before going to start the session, so I want to know, so what is Python means in your perspective, what is Python exactly? Surya and Sanjana, whatever you know, just tell me. So, whereas in your perspective, what is Python? Sorry, there.
Yeah, Python is a versatile and
Yeah.
easy to learn language.
Okay. And what about Sanjana? Is there any points that need to add? Something like that.
Sorry, sir, I'm traveling, so I can't talk.
Okay, fine, not an
I
issue.
am keeping messages in the chat box.
Okay, okay, okay. That's fine. That's fine. Good to hear. Thanks for letting know. And we're in the class, this would be something like introduction to Python. So when it comes to Python, as Surya mentioned, Python is a versatile and high-level programming language for its simplicity and readability. So of course, Python is a programmatic language. Everyone knows that. And why we are using Python for data science means, so uh, before going to that, where in Python we'll be having a good number of libraries and extensive libraries and for the data science, and also we too have the community support, whereas the community supports which includes like Kaggle, Stack Overflow, and also GitHub. So we have very good community support with respect to the data scientists. Yeah, so most of the data scientists, so why will be using means so why will be using Python means, so Python will be having good number of libraries which can be useful for solving any data science problem statement. And also they will be having very good community support, as I told you, that we'll be having the community like Kaggle, GitHub, Stack Overflow, and we are having very good community support. And so we can apply it on the small and large scale applications. So this is what simply, so what is Python and where we'll be using Python and why need what are the advantages of Python. Okay, so when comes to why Python for data science, so why Python for data science is the very first one reason is, so Python is to be frankly, Python is a beginner friendly. Okay, so beginner friendly and also it is developer friendly, I can say that. and it is easy to learn. Okay, and it is having a rich ecosystem. So when I'm saying rich ecosystem means it is having the vast libraries, extensive libraries, which is tailored, which is good for, which is used for the data analysis and visualization and machine learning purposes and etc. And also the community support, as I mentioned that we have very large and active community. So for example, which includes like tutorials and if you face any bug, so in order to troubleshoot, we are having the forums and etc. like Stack Overflow, and also we too have some of the uh, things like GitHub and Kaggle, so where we can exchange our ideas with the different peoples and etc. And versatility. So when I'm saying versatility, so beyond the, of course, obviously we know that we'll be using Python for data science. Other than that, so Python is widely used in web development and automation, and also in the scientific computing. And we are using in various, okay, domains and what it may be. Okay. So these are something that we need to know. So before before going to learn something about the Python, the very first one is what is Python, and so the second one would be like why Python for data science, and the third one would be so where we'll be using Python. So in the IT world, okay, na? So this is a small introduction of the Python. So what, where, and why. When it comes to the key features of Python, so just I want to have that small. What is the key features of Python? So the Python, as I told you, as I mentioned, that Python is simple and readable syntax. Like so when I'm saying Python is simple means like Python code is easy to write and understand, and sometimes it resembles the English language. Like for example, if I want to write a program called what you say, uh, if the ball is a red color or black color. In that scenario, I'm making a simple condition if red equal to black, print black, else print red. It is, if you see this format, okay, it is simple to read. Means by seeing the code itself, we'll be getting to know that what is the program is exactly. Okay, why? Because it is completely resembling the our English language. Okay, and moreover, of course, Python is having the syntax. So obviously we need to aware of the syntax. So if we are aware of the syntax, then only we can execute any line of code. Whereas this syntax is common for any language, any programming language, whether it's a Java, C, or C++, whatever it may be. So we need to aware of the syntax. And moreover, the thing is that the syntax is not that much complex. It is a very readable syntax. So once we aware with the syntax, it is very simple. Okay. And one more thing, that it is an interpretable language. So no need to combine. So like when I'm saying interpretable language, that so uh, we can from seeing like we can run the code line by line, directly line by line using the interpreters. There are some of the scenarios like that. So we can do that. And also dynamical type. When I'm saying dynamical type, there are some of the variables and etc. And we can determine it means what exactly. So the dynamical type means there are some of the scenarios. If you write something, it will be printing automatically the very next step. Okay. So and also object oriented and multi uh, paradigm, large standard library, and the cross-platform, extensible and embeddable, and community support. These all are some of the key features of Python. So as I mentioned that community support, so we are having a huge community with rich documentation, and which includes, like as I mentioned previously, the Kaggle and GitHub for the exchanging the ideas and code and etc. What it may be. And if we are facing any bugs, we do have the Stack Overflow, so where we can exchange our bugs and try to resolve the issue. And also we can also use the some of the libraries which includes like NumPy, Panda, Flask is for the web UI, TensorFlow framework for the deep learning and etc. And so cross-platform means nothing but so we can run the Python program on any Windows, Mac OS, Linux. Of course, we can use in any we can run anywhere. Yeah, these are something about the key features of Python. Okay, and where is Python used exactly? So as I mentioned that, so the very first step that I need to mention that, so where is Python used means currently in our scenario, we will be using Python in data science and machine learning. So as I discussed that Python having libraries like NumPy, Pandas, for NumPy is for the numerical operation and Pandas is for the uh, data wrangling and etc. And scikit-learn is one of the machine learning library. And when it comes to TensorFlow and PyTorch is for the deep learning framework. And also we can use Python in the web development, which includes like frameworks Flask, Django, and Fast API. And also so automation and scripting like so in order to create any pipeline, in order to create any pipeline in automation, so there we can use and like handling the data, uh, s- handling the data, which includes like how can we deal with the data and scrapping the data means how can we utilize the data, something like that. And the software and development, like which includes like building applications, GUI and system tools. And of course, we can use the cybersecurity and networking, and even in the education field. So we can use in different uh, fields. So where it can be applicable. So that is where we'll be using Python. When it comes to the advantages of Python, so when it comes to the advantages of Python, as I told you that it is a beginner friendly, and the second one versatile for multiple domains. We can use in multiple domains discussed previously already, and strong community and ecosystem. And we do have the extensive libraries and frameworks. So these are some of the advantages of the Python. So when it comes to disadvantages of Python, it is like there is a complexity that the execution is somewhat slower when compared to the languages like C and C++. So the execution is quite slower, a bit slower, not a bit slower. Not, other than that, um, it is not a good ideal for the mobile development, like developing and mobile application, something that it is not a very good option. And there also one more thing is that memory consumption is very high. Okay, so in some of the use cases, like while working on a very uh, large scale applications, so we may experience the high memory consumption. So these are comes under the disadvantages. Yeah, and when it comes to the key applications of Python in data science, so where we are using means a Python in the data science. So in generally, so data when we are working on a data science, we'll be going in a sequential manner. The very first one would be that, as I told you in the earlier, so data science is nothing but the study of the data, which extracts meaningful insights for the business use case to improve the profits. When I'm saying that extracting meaningful insights from the data, obviously we need to work on the data. So in order to work on the data, we need to have the data. Okay, so the data, of course, the very first one will be data collection. There are the some of the scenarios we'll be extracting the data from some of the uh, websites, there may be a scenario like there may be a scenario I need to extract the data from the LinkedIn or Instagram, or there is some website, whatever it may be. So in order to extract the data from some of the website, we'll be using certain libraries called Beautiful Soap and Scrappy. So which allows, whereas the Beautiful Soap and Scrappy, which allows us to scrap the data from the respective websites. So where we'll be using Python request and URL and libraries. So this is how this is one of the thing. So where we'll be using Python very first from the data collection, and also data cleaning and pre-processing. So if you see that uh, uh, in generally, if any user or client or any data engineering team, whoever it may be, whenever they give the data, it won't be in a structured format or a cleansed format or a cleaned format or else a pre-processed data, processed data. So it won't be a processed data exactly. Actually, it would be a raw data. So if we fit our algorithm or model over the raw data, it won't give very good results. It is not a proper way to do, first of all. For that reason, we need to clean the data or we need to process the data as per the uh, model requirement or the model fitting the model. So for that reason, we will be using some of the libraries called pandas and numpy that helps to uh, clean the data or manipulate the data. And there are, by using certain and by using the what to say libraries like SciPy and stat models, we can apply stats over the data, and we can manipulate the data and we can modulate the data. We can wrangle the data and come up with our required format. So that we can do by using the Python libraries, pandas and NumPy. When it comes to the data exploration and analysis, so after the data means so once we got the data, so to say frankly, for everyone in a very first time, if you see the data, obviously he may get bit confused. What is this data exactly? How the data was framed? Are the columns are correlated to each and everyone or not? How each and a column is there? If it is a numerical column, is a numerical column is following any distribution, normal distribution or not? So what exactly it is behaving? So in order to know the data structure or the format, we need to explore the data. In order to explore the data, we are performing what do you say some of the we are performing some of the statistical operation. So that is how we'll be trying to get to know about the data from some of the statistical operation like describe. We'll be trying to describing the data. We'll be trying to getting the information of the data, and also we'll be trying to getting the all the is there any missing value something in the data. This type of things we'll be trying to do in the data exploration analysis. Okay, and in simply we are trying to explore the data and analyzing the data. And the third one would be like data visualization. Of course, if you remember, Surya asked yesterday one question. So, are we using Tableau or Power BI for the data visualization? In our scenario, so where in Python, we are having very good number of libraries, which includes like Matplotlib and Seaborn and also the Dash. So, by using this Matplotlib, Seaborn, we can do the good data visualization. And also by using Dash we can also create an application. Okay, so uh, these are some of the libraries which we'll be using for the data visualization. And machine learning, where in machine learning we'll be having a library called scikit-learn. Okay, so Python having a library called scikit-learn, and this scikit-learn library will be using for the machine learning operations. So whereas scikit-learning library having multiple modules, so which includes like the algorithms like models, and uh, we have multiple approaches, multiple models, sorry, multiple modules which are required for the doing model training and etc. And also the big data processing. So, and we where in Python we do have one more framework called PySpark. By using PySpark and DOS, so we can work on the large amount of data, large data sets. When if you see pandas library having sorry pandas library is having a limitation saying that it will work for a certain millions of data. If it extend the some millions of data, it won't work. It will throw an error. At that time, we'll be going for the DOS library. Whereas DOS library, so by using the task library, we can read the extensive amount of data, the large amount of data. Yeah. And one more thing, the one more application, natural language processing. Where in natural language processing, so obviously we'll be using Python libraries, which includes like NLTK, Natural Language Toolkit, and Spacey. And these are some of the libraries which we'll be using for the natural language processing to work on some of the problem statements like uh, test analysis, sentiment analysis, and also language modeling. So for this type of when we are working on this type of scenarios, obviously we'll be using libraries like NLTK and Spacey. Okay, so automation and integration. So there are some of the tasks which need to be do complete automation. So in that type of scenario, also we'll be using the Python script. So this comes under the key applications of Python in data science field. Team, any doubt up to here?
Yes.
Yeah. And as we told you already that we're in Python, we'll be having the libraries which are essential for the data science. So the core libraries are NumPy. So it is for the numerical operation, and the pandas, it is for the data manipulation and analysis, and matplotlib and cborn is for the data visualization purpose we'll be using. And also we are using scikit-learn for the machine learning, and stats models which are required for the statistical modeling and etc., and XGBoost and light GBM for the gradient boosting. And when it comes to deep learning, we'll be using the frameworks like TensorFlow, Keras library, PyTorch framework, and for big data, we'll be using the PySpark and Dask. And for NLP, natural language processing, we'll be using the libraries like NLTK and Spacey. Okay, so these are the libraries that we'll be using for the for solving any data science problem statement. Most of the scenarios. So as per the problem statement convenience. And of course, the advantage of using Python in the field of data science. The thing is that so for the data scientist, we have one platform. So the platform name called Anaconda Navigator. So whereas in Anaconda Navigator, it is only most of the time Anaconda Navigator will be using by the data scientist. Whereas this Anaconda Navigator will be having whereas this Anaconda Navigator is for the is to do for some of the data science applications. So we'll be using the Anaconda Navigator. This Anaconda Navigator will be having the Python editors. The Python editors which includes like Jupyter Notebook and also what you say R Studio and some other editors. We have Jupyter Lab and etc. So this is extensively built for the data scientists. So most of our time we'll be working on the Jupyter Notebook, and also Google is also providing Google Colab. So it is a cloud platform. So we can use this type of editors for writing our Python script and etc. And also cross-platform. And we can use Python for the multiple domains as I discussed, like for the project development and deployment and etc. And the scalability. So as we discussed previously, when it comes to scalability, we can have by using Python, we can handle the small data and the large data. Means we can handle the simple small data analysis project to the large scale AI systems. So that is one of the advantages of using Python. And the community and resource, like we are having the very good tutorials, and also we'll be having very good documentation. And we to have very good for each and every library, we have very good documentation. And we have certain platforms like Kaggle and GitHub community and etc. To share our ideas. And there are so many research papers also there. So yeah, from the research papers also we'll be getting to know that whether we can whether how we can utilize uh, respect to Python libraries in the data science for solving any data science problem statement. And also as I discussed yesterday, so there are the here some of the real world examples of Python that we are doing in the data sciences in retail industry. We are using, of course, for retail industry data science problem statements. So obviously there also we are using a Python language to try to know the customer purchase pattern and also predicting the demand. So this will be using by Python based machine learning models. And we're also we'll be working on the healthcare, uh, where in healthcare we'll be working on the diagnostics tools and drug discovery models with the Python machine learning and AI capabilities. Finance sector, like predicting the stock market, predicting the stock prices, and using the time series analysis. And also the social media, like by using if you say social media like Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, we'll be trying to know the uh, sentiment of the respect to taste from the social media data. So that's we can do by using simple Python NLP based models, NLP, yeah, NLP tools using the NLTK natural language toolkit and SciPy. Okay, so this is a simple introduction of this is simple introduction to Python. And so what is in simple uh, introduction to Python means how we what is Python exactly, and why we need to have Python for data science. And also we discuss what are the key features of the Python, and also we discuss where we'll be using Python exactly, and what are the advantages of Python. So what are the disadvantages of Python, and what are the key applications of Python in data science that we had a discussion. And also we discuss what are the essential libraries that we'll be using for data science, and what are the advantages of using Python in data science we discuss. And we to discuss the real world examples of Python in data science. So these are the things that we had a discussion. And too many doubts, so that
No, sir.
okay, fine. And the very next so we'll be trying to install the Python editor. We'll be trying to install the Python in our desktop. We'll see how that. And before going to that, So as I told you that we are having a data science community, and of course, Anaconda Navigator, which provides all Python editors, which every data science can utilize to solve their respective problem statements. In simple words, Anaconda is a distribution of Python that simplifies the process of managing libraries, environments, and tools for data science, machine learning, and scientific computing. It comes pre-packaged with essential tools like Jupyter Notebook, Spider, and popular Python libraries. So this Anaconda distribution that we'll be going to install in our desktop. Okay. The very first step that we need to do is download the Anaconda. So go to your uh, any browsing device like Google Chrome or Internet Explorer and just type download Anaconda Navigator. Like let me show. So here just type like Anaconda Navigator download for Windows. Just search it for Windows 10, something like that, and it will open the download Anaconda distribution. Just click on the download Anaconda distribution. Here we'll be having the free download. Just download it. This is one way, and Anaconda Navigator. So download now. It will be asking certain email ID. Just provide the email ID. So it will be providing a download link to your mail ID. If you download now, it will redirect to the. Are you following the same thing or what?
Yes, sir, follow.
Yeah. If you open this, you'll find a Anaconda distribution. You'll be getting a mail. If you keep on click on the download now, it will redirect to the page. So where in the page, you need to, if you want the demo, you can click on get a demo. And if not, you can scroll down and install distribution installers for down for Windows. It would be for Windows now. Go to Windows, Python 3.1.2 and click on this 64-bit graphical installer, something that, and it will be going to download. Okay. I think everyone understand how we need to download the down Anaconda Navigator or Anaconda distribute for or Windows. And by default, so the Python version would be something like 3.12. Okay. And this is what. this is how we'll be installing the Anaconda Navigator in our local machine. I think Surya, you got it my point, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. For example, in order to be on sync, so I will be giving you the what do you say Anaconda file of mine so that you can have the Anaconda file where it is.
I had downloaded.
Yeah, 1 minute. So I provided the a link in the chart. Okay. So download the file. Okay, na? Whereas in the chart, I was provided the Anaconda distribution file .exe file. So just in order to be in a sync, like I was doing an older version of Anaconda. So in order to be in a sync, so we'll be going with the same Anaconda distribution file and just download the file and keep it in local. And once you're done, let me know. Are you and are you done with the installation? Means are you done with the downloading the file?
Still downloading, sir.
Still downloading. Meanwhile, so we'll let you know how we need to install the Anaconda in our local machine. Let you know that. So you know how to download the file. Now we'll let you know how to install the file in our local machine. Just go and click on this. Go and double click on the file. It will ask you, please, yeah, click on next. And once you are done with that, it will ask you about the license and just click on I agree. and make sure that install for just me recommended, no need to for all users. And thereafter you will be giving an destination folder name. By default it would be like C means users Anaconda 3. As per your request you can browse to any folder, but keep it as same. And as it was already installed in my local in my machine, so it is asking for the different what you say folder. If you say something like data sets, you'll see was making a new folder call on something like Anaconda 4. And if you click on next, oh sorry, okay, fine. So the problem here I'm facing is, so space required would be 5 GB, but space available is a 2 GB. That is the issue that I'm facing. So otherwise, so this next option will be enabled. So once you went for the means, once you chosen the required destination folder, that is Anaconda 3, just make sure to have the next. If we click on the next, it will be going to ask the next step. So where in the next step, you need to click on the OK for the installation process, so that the required installation will be begin, and it will take almost 5 to 5 minutes to complete the complete installation process. Once installation process was completed, you can mention means you can click on the finish button in such a way that you can completely install the Anaconda in your local machine. So this is the process how we will be generally installing the Anaconda in our local machine. So Surya, are you done with the installation? Are you in a track? Are you on a track?
Yes, I'm in track. Still
Okay.
installing.
Installation done.
No, sir. Still installing the.
So generally, this is how we will be installing the Anaconda Navigator in our Windows local machine. So the steps, there are some for installing the Anaconda. So there are some of the steps that we need to follow. The very first one would be downloading the Anaconda. So just we'll be browsing on Google saying download Anaconda Navigator for the Windows desktop, and it will be providing you the, it will be redirected you to the website, where in the website we need to click on the download for desktop. So download for Windows, and if you done the download for the Windows, it will be asking your email ID. You need to provide your email ID. It will provide you the download link to your email ID. If you click on the download link from email ID, it will redirect to the website page once again, and it will ask you to download for Linux or Windows or whatever it may be as per your system configuration. So generally you'll be giving the providing the going for the Windows and downloading the file. That is how we will be downloading the Anaconda file. Once the file has been downloaded, then we'll be going for the installation of for Anaconda. Just double click on the downloaded file, and it will ask you for some of the uh, settings or things. Just provide the destination folder name and also provide the what you say system path. So make everything as a default. You no need to do anything. Just go on, click what is means what you say uh, next step, next step, next step. Everything will be so. For installing the Anaconda, it will take obviously obviously it will take something like 5 minutes of time. Depends upon your network. It will take 10 more time also if it is very low. So this is how we'll be installing the Anaconda. Once installation was done, okay. Once installation was done, in order to know whether the Conda was installed properly or not, so what we are doing, we'll be running a command called Conda version. Just I will be putting the same thing in the I will be providing the same thing in the message chart also. Yeah, this is my just open the any terminal like Anaconda prompt or Windows. In generally, what is happened? So once the installation was done, if you provide Anaconda something like that, it will provide some of the applications like Anaconda Navigator, Anaconda Prompt, and Anaconda PowerShell. This would be reflected in generally. What will you do? You just click on the Anaconda prompt. From the Anaconda prompt, you just try to paste Conda version. So basically, it will going to provide the version of the Conda that what you install. So the current version of the Conda was that I'm using 24.1.2 in such a way that you'll be getting to know that the installation was properly and happened. The installation was successfully happened in such a way that you can confirm the installation process. This is how we'll be verifying the installation, whether the Anaconda is properly installed or not. And thereafter, once you fine with the installation, then what you will be doing, what you are going to do. So you are trying to, for example, we'll try to open the same thing from the so as I told you that we'll be having if you type something like Anaconda, it will be giving Anaconda prompt. Anaconda prompt is something like a command prompt. Anaconda PowerShell prompt and Anaconda Navigator. If you open the Anaconda Navigator, we'll see what happened. If you open the Anaconda Navigator, so you will be seeing a UI, means Anaconda Navigator user interface. From the Anaconda Navigator also, we can launch the Jupyter Notebook, Spider, and what it may be. So basically for launching it will be taking some time. So before going to proceed in such a way that, so generally we'll open the command prompt itself. We'll open the command prompt. In the same command prompt, just type Jupyter Notebook. If you type something like Jupyter Notebook, so it will be redirect you to the page. It will be redirect to the Jupyter Notebook. You may get doubt. So what was exactly opened? So from seeing this, it was in the C users and Dell. Okay. So where it was opened exactly? It was openly in the this PC C users Dell. This is the where the file has been opened. This is the location where our Anaconda, where our Jupyter Notebook has been opened. Okay, na? So if you open something like, if you click on something like new, and if you open the notebook, the Jupyter Notebook will be open, and for the open Jupyter Notebook, the basically the name was untitled. So first you need to select the kernel. The kernel would be like Python 3. You'll be finding the number of kernels, but preferably we'll be selecting the Python 3 kernel. Select. As I told you that initially the name would be untitled. Why? Because we haven't provided any name. Just type name like demo and rename it the file name to demo. And in order to make sure that this Jupyter is working fine or not, just type print. So if you right click, shift and enter, it will be providing the print statement. Welcome to the world of data science. This is a Python editor. The Python editor name is Jupyter Notebook. So this is how we'll be running the Python commands or Python script and etc. So in future, we'll be going to work completely on the Jupyter Notebook only. And we'll be going to solve the data science problem statements and etc. in the same Python Jupyter Notebook. And in order to know the what Python version exactly, you can simply uh, just you can type like command for Python version in Jupyter Notebook. It is the 3.11.7 is my Python version. Okay, so this is how, so we'll be using Jupyter Notebook for our Python programming. And here platform is my module, and Python version is the package. So and I'll be using Python version as a package to know the Python version exactly. So are you good with this? Like maybe as it is your very first class on Python programming language. So I don't want to stress you in the very first class itself. And tomorrow we'll be letting to know how we'll be installing the package in the Python environment. How can we manage the environments? How can we create the virtual environments? And how can we set up the respective Python version? And how can we activate the respective virtual environments? And how can we deactivate the virtual environment? And will possible will also try to what you say let you know some of the programming steps. Any doubts? Hello. Okay then. So from tomorrow class, I will be going to continue the same Python uh, introduction and etc. If possible, we'll try to cover some of the basic concepts. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, team.